Motherfuckers. Surprise, motherfuckers.
Does that say what I think it says? Well, Curtis, pardon my French, but where the fuck you think you going? You think you just gonna get out of this and walk? Hey, y'all, he trying to leave, bro. Nope. You don't get to run now that you think it's a failed experiment. Nah, bro. No, you don't.
Guys, I really think the tide is starting to turn. Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel's butt plug, you know, the guy from Stanford that's the Antichrist that has somehow influenced every horrible human being in power today. Curtis has fled the United States, like Eric Adams style. Curtis wrote on X a 3-page manifesto of why he's leaving, essentially trying to say that, you know, Trump hasn't gone far enough yet. And I'm thinking these boys have overplayed their hand and flew too close to the sun. And Curtis knows what's going to happen. He knows they're going to get destroyed in midterms no matter what they do. And he knows people are going to jail for this. This isn't the kumbaya Democrats and leftists anymore. The people that are terrorizing human beings right now need to go to jail. The architects of what's happening need to go to jail. And we're not settling for anything less. I can tell you right now, if Curtis thought all their plans were going to go down as scheduled, he wouldn't be fleeing the U.S. because he knows what's going to happen.
In follow-up to my earlier post, I have a question for all of you guys. Who do you think is going to leave the Trump administration first? Or as I like to call them, the Trump regime. Before I tell you who I think is, it should also be of note that word is Curtis Yarvin, who's one of the architects behind everything that's going on with this administration, this regime, all the bad actors. Curtis Yarvin is expressing lately that he thinks they're blowing it. He thinks the whole plan, they didn't think it out right and it's going to fail. And word is he wants to leave. He wants to leave the country because he doesn't feel so safe. You know, there's Peter Thiel and all these other people that, you know, are in the background and don't want you to know who they are. But Curtis Yarvin, he was the guy they were all relying on early on and said he's the one with the great master plan. And apparently he doesn't have much confidence lately. And as I said earlier, I think Trump is a wannabe dictator and it ain't going to work out for him. And I think the administration is going to start falling apart. And I think one of the first people to go is going to be Marco Rubio. They're going to come up with some excuse. He is going to come up with an excuse. But I think he's going to be the first to leave. Because I think the others are wretched people. I think Pam Bondi is a creature. They have no soul. Stephen Miller, all these people, they'll all hang around. Whiskey Pete Hegseth, you know, they're nasty characters. They'll get theirs later on down the road when a new administration takes over and charges are brought against all of them. But yeah, I think that I'm putting my money on the first one to leave this administration is going to be Marco Rubio. Who do you think? Please like and share this video. It's very important. Get it around. Spread the word. Let people know what's going on here with people like Yarvin and others. I appreciate it. Comment. Give me your opinions. But definitely let me know who you think is going to leave the administration first.
So I am guardedly optimistic this morning, and the reason is because Curtis Yarvin is scared. While he holds no institutional power, Yarvin is still the principal architect behind the ideological movement that's driving Trump and J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all of those people, and he is currently so sure that that movement is failing, that it is not succeeding in its goals, that he believes when it falls, he is going to have to flee the country for his own safety. I am not saying the cavalry is coming. I'm not saying we don't have to fight. Nobody is going to save us but us. All of that is as true today as it was yesterday. But when you get panicked, when you want to freak out and run away because you think things aren't going well for you, Curtis Yarvin doesn't think things are going well for him either. And given how much he's invested in this, that's a pretty encouraging sign. Anyway, have a nice day.
Hi guys, this is Tiana and you're welcome to Tiana's React. So they called him MAGA spiritual leader a man preaching monarchy in democracy. He said democracy is a disease and he wanted kings, not presidents. He said only the strong should lead, but when the hate came, he packed his bags. Curtis Yarvin preached courage until courage called his name. This is what happens when false prophets face the wall they built. But now the same man who wanted to rebuild America is talking about fleeing. Fleeing to where? Like, where does he think he's fleeing to? What's Curtis Yarvin really running from? Justice, failure, or his own ideas? Well, let's watch people's opinions today. But before we dive in, please do well to like, share, and of course, subscribe to keep the channel moving.
Yes, I did see that. And apparently, he wrote that himself. This man has a Substack. You can Google it. And he wrote in his own Substack, he wants to flee. Already. It hasn't been a year yet, and he's already out. Or at least he wants to be out. He said he's scared of facing retribution when the blue team, when the left, takes over in 2029. He sees the writing on the wall. He wants to flee the sinking ship. Already. I just have a question. Where's he going? Where are you going, sir? Nobody likes you. Every country hates us. Because of what you did, because of what you influenced. The people in charge right now, currently in Congress, everything they did was inspired by people like you, if not you in particular. You are part of the reason, if not the main reason, why we're in this position right now. And you just think you can just bounce? I get that you have a lot of money. I assume that you have a lot of money. But I seriously doubt any country would want you. Knowing exactly who you are and how much of an influence you've had on where we are today. So he can try to flee. He ain't gonna get far. And we have to consider that. We have to think about what's gonna happen to these people when the left does take over. Because in my opinion, after what the Confederates did in 1860 or the 1860s, proper justice was not dished out. It might be time we rectify that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Go ahead and do your own research on this. Use ChatGPT, use Google. But he did say this. And that should tell you something. But stay hopeful, trust your gut, and always know you're not crazy.
So I was just alerted that Curtis Yarvin wants to flee the United States. And in case you don't know who Curtis Yarvin is, he is a fucking wackadoodle blogger who wants to create his own government that is completely like police state dictators. In fact, he said this once.
If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over the dictatorphobia.
He's besties with Peter Thiel and is quite possibly the inspiration behind the whole Palantir thing for the police state thing. Peter Thiel, who has tried to create his own sort of little countries in other countries and then ended up suing those countries because it didn't work. Like Curtis Yarvin and the tech bros got together and they wanted to take over the US government to create their own government. Oh, and JD Vance is also a huge follower of Curtis Yarvin, and that's the whole reason that he is the vice president today. So I guess the only good news we have is that Curtis Yarvin wants to flee the fucking United States because MAGA is out of control. After he and all the tech bros used the algorithms to help Trump get into power. And Curtis Yarvin, just a few hours ago, wrote on his Substack that he was thinking about fleeing. But apparently he can't even commit to that because he actually erased that whole section. We're not even a year into them trying to take over the government, and it's already super fucking bad for us. So he's trying to flee? It must be really fucking bad.
So first, we had Curtis Yarvin, which I did a video on him yesterday, saying that, you know, maybe he needs to think about fleeing the country because Democrats are going to just fucking destroy these people when they get back into power. Now we have Nick Fuentes, far-right instigator, provocateur, and self-proclaimed Christian nationalist, Nazi. He came out and just said this: Trump or someone in the Trump government appears to be deliberately manufacturing a state of tension. Highly publicized and dramatic ICE raids in the most liberal cities like Portland and Chicago almost seem designed to invite a response from left-wing agitators. Oh, wow. He put his thinking cap on for this one. ICE agents appear to be more adversarial. Let me just clean that up. ICE agents appear to be acting more adversarial and provocative toward these agitators than any law enforcement I've ever seen, says Nick Fuentes. Left-wing agitators are assembling to protest at detention facilities and attacking ICE in the field, which creates the need for National Guard or federal DHS, DOW troops to protect ICE. Surely this will be met by more aggressive tactics from demonstrators. If this is a calculated strategy to climb up the escalation ladder and force an intense confrontation between law enforcement and the radical left, one which leads to a collapse of the left, then that is a very interesting scenario. I fear that Trump administration lacks the will and follow through to do what is necessary to win a true confrontation with the left. If that is the case, then all they're doing is just antagonizing the left and creating a tension which will just explode rather than lead to a pretext for a right-wing power grab. In which case, I agree with Curtis Yarvin that this Trump admin is doing nothing other than inciting the left to destroy us when they return to power. Well, I don't understand. Aren't you guys getting everything you fucking wanted? You're getting these mass deportations of even citizens, just brown people in general. That's what you live for. This is what you masturbate to. Don't deny it. You love this shit. So what? It's just not good enough for you, is it? I thought that you guys would all be walking around with fucking chubbies in your pants. Oh, it's not good enough. It's not far right enough, they say. We're not having fucking Freedom City surveillance state here, if that's what you want to. I mean, Palantir is already on the job. They have all of our data. So I guess I can't say we won't, but that's not what we want, right? I mean, what's wrong with caring about human rights? Like, just wanting to fucking live our lives the way we fucking want to, as long as we're not harming anyone else or breaking the law. I don't understand what's so wrong about that. Why can't you just accept that some people aren't like you? I mean, some people don't want to be like 30-year-old fucking self-proclaimed virgins and misogynists. It's just so weird that you hate women so much and you've never lain with one. Just interesting. I mean, I'm not a man-hater, so I just don't get it. I don't get it, Nick. What's up? What's up with that, Nick? I think that you guys would be just so happy at how things are proceeding, but it's just not good enough for you. Then what the fuck do you want? Like, seriously. Y'all need to take this crazy shit. You want a fucking Christo-fascist nation? Go to a fucking island. You guys are all billionaires. Get your billionaire buddies to buy an island. Go fucking live there all together, y'all. Just go there and live there. And have your Christo-fascist utopia. The fuck ever that means.
I just heard about Curtis Yarvin. One of my friends sent me a video that he wrote on his Substack that he's scared. And he's trying to get a game plan together, and he thinks other people should get a game plan together to leave in 29. That's good. That's great, actually. He was a complete psychopath. And he thinks it's failing. He thinks Trump's plans are failing. It's not even been a year. And he thinks they're going down. Hang on to your hope, my homies. This was the news I needed today, for sure. Excuse the state. I'm a bit under the weather. I got food poisoning. Don't drink out of wells, guys. Just don't do it. I don't know why I thought my supreme luck would carry me through this. It did not.
Well, now, what do you have here? Curtis Yarvin running scared, afraid of Democratic retribution and revenge? What I tell you? Cowards. They're cowards. They're lames. They're bullies. And bullies are always going to run when the people they're bullying decide to stand up. Because all they have is money. They don't have no cojones. They just got money. Now he running scared. He gonna leave the country. They didn't do exactly what they thought was gonna happen, and he's scared of going to jail. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna tuck his tail and run like the bitches they are.
This guy wants to turn the US into a tech monarchy, and JD Vance has praised his ideas.
If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over their dictatorphobia.
His name is Curtis Yarvin, and he's a software engineer and blogger who argues American democracy is so broken it needs to be replaced with monarchy styled after a Silicon Valley tech startup. JD Vance has talked about Yarvin and his ideas multiple times, suggesting his theories have shaped his thinking. In his book, Patchwork, A Political System for the 21st Century, Yarvin wrote, "As the crappy governments we inherited from history are smashed, they should be replaced by a global spiderweb of tens, even hundreds of thousands of sovereign, independent mini-countries, each governed by its own joint stock corporation without regard to the residents' opinions." He also believes these corporate countries should have a surveillance system that might as well be out of a dystopian sci-fi. This guy's even proposed converting non-productive people into biodiesel. He later said it was a joke and that he'd find a more humane alternative to genocide, like imprisoning them in virtual realities. But Yarvin sees Trump as a way to get closer to the monarchy he envisions. He told Politico that the Trump admin challenging Congress's constitutionally granted power to control funding is the first step. That's because he feels that Congress, the branch with hundreds of representatives, has too much power that should instead be concentrated in one person. Exactly what our founders were trying to avoid. And that's what conservatives believe too. Project 2025 is filled with language about expanding presidential power. Yarvin, Project 2025, and Trump advocate for the mass firings of civil servants to replace them with loyalists willing to carry out the president's agenda only. Progressive solution to fix Congress would be to end the corporate influence that ensures they represent corporations over the people that voted for them. But MAGA's solution is to create a terrifying corporate authoritarianism so they don't represent the people at all.
I'm curious where Curtis Yarvin believes that he's going to go. Right? You think a lot of countries are just like lining up to accept a bunch of rabble-rousing, uneducated, 5'5" dudes? Where are you going? You looked into immigration laws? I mean, maybe you could find an island somewhere, but then you'll have to be around people that aren't white. And I know that's fucking terrible for you. I knew this shit wouldn't go very far whenever I was reading that Dark Enlightenment shit, because they don't even know what feudalism is. The system that he was describing, actually, that was like his preferred system, was socialism. Did y'all know that? Did you know that? That the great libertarian neo-feudalist kingmaker philosopher of the right wing that loves J.D. Vance, and that J.D. Vance is now the vice president because of... And that should have been a clue, right? Curtis Yarvin is like, our king, our lord, our liege, J.D. Vance. But yeah, if you didn't know that, like if you never read the neo-reactionary stuff, their idea of feudalism, I was curious about it, so I went a little deep dive on it, and I had to go, I went and like identified all their like working parts of it, which was very bare. But what they described was socialism. It was a bunch of social programs aimed at specific parts of the community to let those community members thrive and be bolstered so that they can all work together and have their needs met, each according to their need, each according to their ability. It wasn't any kind of feudalism. And I made some videos about that, like this summer, which it still feels like summer in Jersey. But yeah, I made some videos about that, like right at the beginning of June, and talked about it. Like, see, they wanted socialism, right? They wanted full socialism. That's what they were describing. They just wanted to kill all the minorities to do it. You know, they're like, all right, we're going to do socialism, but not for the black people, not for the immigrants and Mexicans, not for the queers, not for any of them, just for the white people. And now he's like, oh shit, we've unleashed Frankenstein, and guess who they're mad at? The creator. Because you're not giving them the promise of socialism that you had so deeply, deeply advocated for and then sucked at delivering. Because, you know, Regulars might get it. But yeah, I'm really curious where you think you're going to go. I really don't know. Because I mean, that's the thing about having a high profile. When your high profile is due to you being the biggest pain in the ass and putting a vice president in there that is kind of a couch fucker, yeah. Countries don't like that to see that on the immigration app. So I wrote you a song. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. Curdy.
Guys, for years he told America to bow to power. Now he's scared of the power he once praised. You can't play God and then run from the storm you created. Curtis Yarvin wanted to control the system. Now the system is watching him. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Please do well to like, share, and of course subscribe to keep the channel moving. Till next time.